Hey, welcome to another episode of What I've Learned podcast with your host, Mark Blair, and co host, Grant Croftfeld. We've got a special guest today. Her name is Kati Ross. She's a real estate investor, an entrepreneur, and a super mom. So basically, a force not to be reckoned with. All right. So, Kati, welcome, and let's get right into it. Would you like to please tell us your backstory?
Yes. I just turned 32 this year. I have been in real estate for just over 5 years. I am happily married. We have 4 children, 2 dogs, and we not only do real estate, both of us, my husband is licensed, but we also have a flipping business as well.
Very cool. So how did you get started? Tell us the humble beginnings.
Humble beginnings that they are. Me and my husband actually met at a restaurant we were both working at. He was a chef and I was the lovely waitress. And after a few months, things just went from working together to hanging out, and things just progressed. And basically, we kind of never left each other since. And that was just over 10 years ago. And after working in the restaurants, to me, was just really rough. Once we decided to start having children, Sophia was about 3 when I said, I really don't want to work nights and weekends anymore. It's just not fun. He at that time had started working for an investment company out of Grand Rapids and was contracting through them to do their flips and remodels of their properties. And he's like, Kati, get your real estate license. Like, people love you, just do it. And I was like, okay. So I took my course online while I was working, got my license. And at that same time, he said, hey, I'm probably going to want to flip my own houses. I can do this myself. I see the ROI is here. It makes sense. And that at that same time, his father had become very ill. And we were the only people willing basically to take care of him. And we ended up purchasing a pretty much condemned house that was his family home in Sand Lake, Michigan. And we purchased it and spent 4 years renovating while living there, while both working real estate and contracting. And that was actually the first project we ever did, was selling that home.
So that scenario get any more difficult than that?
Literally, to tell you the truth, at one time, we had a completely exposed kitchen in the summertime for like a week that we lived in, and cooked on a grill top for like a month while the kitchen was getting renovated.
Wow.
Yeah, that's got to be pretty stressful. Plus you had a 3-year-old at the time, or
we had actually at that time, Sophia was 5 and we had twins that were 6 months old.
Yeah, that's military training over here.
Yeah. Like, honestly, I got my real estate license, started working at a Keller Williams, and maybe a month and a half later, I found out that we were expecting twins. So that was a wonderful way to start my career.
Yeah. Couple surprises.
Yeah.
But good surprises. Definitely the super mom early on.
For sure. Yeah.
That's so cool. It really demonstrates a lot about your character, and you've gone through. I always say to a lot of people when they get started in any career, if they can get the hard stuff happening first and the difficult deals and the challenging clients, it really makes them a phenomenal agent and an entrepreneur.
Yeah, so to go through the tough stuff first.
Yeah, it really molds you properly to handle the stress that comes with owning a business and running a family, and just everything simultaneously.
Absolutely.
So can you tell us now, so your husband kind of, plants the idea in your ear about, hey, let's start flipping. You get your real estate license. You haven't done real estate before. You haven't run a business before, but you've got excellent customer service skills just dealing with people. So you've got one thing down packed for yourself, giving you kind of an advantage. So a lot of people that aren't very social, they're going to struggle with that aspect to get that business off the ground.
Yeah.
So at this point now, what happens next for you? So as you get your real estate license, how long does it take for you to get this business off the ground while you're juggling this entire workload? And just so I put it out there is a study that states that when a full-time mom is equal to 2 full-time jobs. Okay.
I believe that 100%.
That back it right up. So we're talking about you handling 2 full-time jobs, plus a career, plus a personal life, and then everything else in between.
So luckily, my husband is super smart with money. He's definitely the financial side of things. I'm more of a spender. He's a saver. And so once I did get my license, I was able to quit my job at the restaurant. So I went full time into real estate until the twins were born. I was very fortunate to have a great base of people around me, to have a few transactions under my belt in the first couple years, especially when it came to buyers. And honestly, I'm that kind of person that when I want to do something, I go for it. I'm not the studier, I'm not the researcher, I'm more of the doer. So I just started calling for sale by owners. Literally my first week, I nailed a $400,000 for sale by owner that listed with me, and we sold it within the first week. So I think that the steps that I did take, because it worked right away, it was a great jumpstart to my business. I know that not everybody comes out of the gate with deals, and I was fortunate to have that, and that really helped keep the momentum going.
So that's
I think
good point for I think anybody in. I see a lot of times, a lot of people, I'm sure you've seen it too, being at Keller Williams. And if you don't know, Keller Williams are huge about the trainings, and that's kind of their staple point, is to be able to train and help the agents.
Yes.
How often do you see the inverse of that? Because I see it all the time where people like get this like analysis paralysis, where they're just constantly going to the trainings, and they're doing all, like, they're basically putting off the do work. Like they're
exactly
just avoiding it because they're like, well, I'm learning all this stuff. I'm learning. And they're never like hammering the phones. Is like, it sounds like you just jumped right in and you're like, I'm just going to do, and I'll figure it out on the way.
Yeah. I think just like you said, the paralysis of learning and training does happen to a lot of people, and it does consume them. And at some point you have to go, whoa, what do I actually have to do to make money?
Yeah.
That's pick up your phone and go out and do things in the community and be out there.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
So you won't get rich being a professional student then.
No. Who wants to do that anyways?
Not in real estate.
Not me.
Yep. I mean, you should always be, I don't say don't go learn. You should always be learning.
Oh, absolutely.
But you should never let that dissuade you from taking the action. And, whatever you're learning, you should immediately start to take and put into action, or else it's useless. Like, you can know everything in the world, but if you're not doing it, what's the point?
Yeah. One thing I always tell the agents here at my office is to always run towards the things that scare you, because if it's not scaring you, it's not challenging you, and you're not growing. So you better get going at those things that scare you so that you grow.
Yeah. So jumping in, fresh license, getting some deals, and you're the doer. So you probably didn't do a whole lot of like the classes, learning things like that. What were some of the struggle, pains, and things like that you ran into early that were?
So I was at Keller Williams for maybe a month when I was recruited for a team. Being fresh in real estate, I didn't know what that looked like, but I felt special, right? Because someone wanted me to be on their team. So I was like, yes, I'll do this. That lasted about 2 weeks until I went, I can't be on a team. I either had to be the team leader or I just got to be solo. So I stepped away from that. And my husband said, Katie, when it comes to brokerages, you're spending a lot of money working at the brokerage. I took a quick detour and went to an independent brokerage where I wasn't getting anything, but paying a very small amount for doing transactions. And about a month after knowing not even really how to write a purchase agreement, I said, honey, I can't do this. I got to figure something else out. So I left, went back to Keller Williams, and stayed there for about 3 months. And I got a recruiting call from a RE/MAX. And obviously everybody knows RE/MAX as far as the brand goes. And so I said, I just switched like twice in my first year. I don't know if this is a good idea, but I did went and meet with them. And even though I do not love training, the resources, the training, and everything RE/MAX had to offer, I was really sold on the idea. So I finally did make that last transition to a RE/MAX. And that is where I have stayed, is with RE/MAX. When the twins were born in 2016, we did have some medical issues we dealt with. We were in the NICU for about 3 months with one of our daughters. So there were many times that I was working from the hospital, doing listings, writing contracts, taking phone calls. It obviously was a very not only emotional time, but it was stressful I didn't want to lose my business, and I wasn't going to let something that I couldn't control make that happen. So I just kept pushing forward. And when the twins were born, after they got out of the NICU, I was like, okay, yes, we're good. I can finally go full time into real estate. I'm going to rock this. And then I got pregnant with my last baby. And so there was some devastation. I had just come off of a capping year. And I was kind of like, this is really going to be a setback. But I turned the frown upside down and I said, you know what? I'm totally cool with this. I've done this before. It'll be fine. And I had a very successful year, even while being pregnant that year. And at that time, we did move up to Big Rapids. I am in Big Rapids, Michigan now. I transferred to the Remax here. And I have just taken what I would say is a smaller market compared to like a Grand Rapids and really capitalized on everything I knew how to do as far as marketing, the community, things like that. And my business just exploded up here. I am one of the top 4 agents last year in our association, and I did get my broker's license this year. I think that it's really, if anybody is an agent, I think that whether you use your broker's license or not, I think you learn so much more about legal aspects about real estate that it was very useful for me to take that course. So I am the associate broker here now. It allows me to train the agents. It allows me to help them with their branding. I'm pretty good at branding, social media, that kind of thing. And I have a huge heart and I love helping people. And so to be able to train the agents, it has been so much fun.
So Big Rapids, for people watching this, it's a college town for the most part, right?
It is.
Ferris State University is the kind of the staple point there. I've been there a handful of times over the years. And
yeah,
if you go outside the realm of Ferris State, from what I remember, there's basically just a Walmart.
Oh, it is not that bad. We're getting Marshalls right now.
Oh, Marshalls has moved. You guys are moving up, but it's a very small community, especially outside the university standpoint, right? Like that.
Yeah. I always like to describe it to people moving in. We have all the amenities that you need. We've got a hospital. We have all the grocery stores. We have boutiques. We have ultimately everything you would need in a city, but with a very small town feel. And if you want anything more bougie, drive to Grand Rapids. It's 45 minutes on the highway.
Yeah. Yeah. And you, so what's the base clientele that you deal with? There's a lot of like teachers, professors. Is it students, or how does that break down?
So we deal with a lot of just families. I mean, we have tons of first-time home buyers. I would say that our town, most of the people that live here are townies, quote unquote. So they've lived here a long time. So we deal with a lot of the second generation families that are trying to stay in town, buying homes. We also have a lot of investors. So because it being a college town, especially the last year or two, we've seen a huge uptick in investors from Grand Rapids trying to come pick up the rentals up here because there is a really good ROI on the rentals up here, especially when it comes to the college students. So yeah. A lot of investors, a lot of parents that are buying homes for the kids so they don't have to stay in a rental and share it with 4 or 5 other students. So we have a lot of those clients. And we do have professionals, Ferris hires. So we do have professionals that come in. We've got quite a few schools here as well. So we do have professional clients moving in.
Gotcha. And so are you guys now currently investing in that market yourselves, you and your husband?
So it would be 3 years ago now. When we moved up here, we bought 2 houses they were so bad. We bought them for both under $20,000 a piece.
Wow.
We stayed at my mom's, sleeping in the living room for the first 3 months while we flipped our first one. We finished it, moved into it, mind you. This was like a 900 square foot home. And we lived there while we fixed up the second one. Once the second one was done, it was bigger. It was like 1,500 square feet. We moved into that, sold the other one. And we knew we were not going to stay in that home and that we were going to sell it. And at that time, we had picked up 2 more. So we were like, okay, well, we had found a house that we really wanted to purchase, but we couldn't move into it for like 9 months. And so we had to then go buy just a random house to stay in so we could sell the one while we waited for the other. So we went back to living in a 900 square foot house that we just quickly bought to live in while we waited for our home. So not only do we flip, we moved a lot. Like we moved like 3 times in a year and a half there.
Did you guys get like a punch card from the moving company?
No, we have moving down to a T. One big trailer, everything in, one move. So we've got that part figured out. But so it was definitely trying, you know, with 4 kids, little houses, moving, flipping, regular real estate transactions. It was intense.
Yeah. Yeah. And basically, it sounds like kind of restarting your whole real estate career up there. Like you knew what you were doing, but it's a whole new clientele, you have to rebrand yourself in a completely different area. Nobody knows who you are.
Yeah. I will say that I was fortunate. I actually grew up just outside of Big Rapids.
Okay.
I didn't attend school here. So, but my parents live here. So I did have the advantage that I did know quite a few people moving back. I mean, most everyone I went to high school with never left. So they were all here. So that was good.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So, okay. So it wasn't as hard as going to a completely a new place you've never been to before.
Nope. It wasn't like I moved out of state.
Yeah. So since being back, and I know you got your associate, you're an associate broker at Remax now. So do you have your own team of people? I know you mentioned your husband has his license as well and kind of works sometimes on the buy side.
Yes.
Have you brought on more people that work directly with you? Have you built your own team out now?
I have. So last summer was very intense for me. My husband was obviously helping me, working as a buyer's agent, showing houses. But with that, the kids and him flipping, he could not work full time as an agent for me. And I did 75 transactions last year, and literally I pretty much did them alone. So that created for a very fun but hectic year. And I finally went, I don't want to be stressed like this. I said the smartest thing for me to do in order to handle that amount of transactions plus grow my business, I really needed to hire a buyer's agent. So I did a job posting. I interviewed probably 5 people, and I did hire a buyer's agent. She lives just a little north of here, so she helps me also kind of expand to the northern part because unlike Grand Rapids, we kind of have a broad range of locations up here. I mean, we work everything from basically Howard City up to Cadillac in the same distance east and west. So we have quite a span compared to just being in the city. So it really helps with her being up there. She can cover Everett, Tustin, all the areas that are more of a drive for me. But I have laid off the buyers. She handles all of those, and I really just try to work on the listings at this point.
Yeah, so leveraging out some of your, and how, in terms of the time that you've gotten back now that since you've hired her, is it worth it for sure? Especially because obviously, you know, she's getting a cut now of the deals that you would have had, but that time you're getting back, is that peace of mind as well as potentially more business that you can go after now?
Yes, I will. I never will say that I regret it. And one thing I found myself in the past few months going, what do I do? I'm in the office all day and I don't know what to do with my time almost because it's scary because I'm not used to that. I'm used to being so busy, and I have her and I have my transaction coordinator. So everything runs so smoothly that has really allowed me to focus on other things, you know, more past clients, more branding, more outreach. I'm highly involved in my community here. I love Big Rapids, and I probably will die here. And I just really try to give back as much as I can. So it allows me to do those things while still making the money with her as my buyer's agent.
Yeah. Yeah. Leveraging is, from what I know I've discovered, and Mark, leveraging out is a huge benefit. Like you said, you know, you get all this free time, and that's I think the thing that people don't weigh in, because they see a lot of people see like hiring somebody full-time, whether it's a transaction coordinator or an assistant or a buyer's agent, they look at the initial, like, well, I'm gonna have to give them X amount of dollars.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, I don't want to pay. I want to keep making the money, but they don't realize the time that they're getting back, they can now put back into things that make them money. And this is, I explain this to people all the time. It's with anything that you do business-wise, when you efficiently leverage out your time, and you now have that opportunity to bring so much more business in, because you can focus that much more on the things that bring you in the money and bring.
Yeah. And I understand the giving your money away part. I think that even when you hire somebody, you still have that hesitation about it.
Yeah.
But I also don't think that you can put a price on your sanity and your family time. And so to me, that money, I'm not really losing it. I'm gaining other things back while still making it and even broadening it. I think you can make even more. Say you had 3 buyer's agents, you can do way more transactions with those 3 buyer's agents. So the point is, you're going to make more money anyways.
Yep, absolutely.
You're right. That's not going to change at all. But what you said was so valuable, getting your health back, getting some time back with your family. The memories you're creating with them are priceless. So just doing a little bit of delegation, getting some freedom, pretty much pacing yourself to grow to make more money in the future. It's not really, it's just kind of like a little tiny waiting period till you transition to the growth.
Does the thought of buying a home stress you out? Call Elementary Lending. The mortgage process can be stressful and intimidating, but we are not your parents' mortgage company. Our cutting-edge technology has simplified the mortgage process, and our licensed experts are available 24/7 to educate you from start to finish. Call 8332-APPLY now and get an answer in minutes. The process has never been easier. That's 8332-APPLY now, or apply online at elementarylending.com. Elementary Lending, home financing simplified. Equal housing lender, NMLS number 1321438.
That's all. Yeah, really is, little sacrifice for growth. There's got to be a trade. There's no such thing as just ultimate growth right off the bat.
No, I'm a big believer in taking care of yourself, because I see too many agents get burnout, and I don't think it's healthy. And I think it can, burnout could possibly lead to career collapse if you don't get yourself out of it. So I think that creating those situations.
11 hot dogs are you going to eat for dinner?
Yeah, I know.
You have to watch what you're doing to yourself, because you got to live with yourself and you only got one body. So the realization of that is invaluable.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I like being able to talk about burnout, because I feel like few people just in any business, and I know on our podcast we have a lot of people involved in real estate on here, but real estate is really just it's a great learning place, but it's also just a great kind of all-encompassing example of any business. The things you learn in real estate, you can kind of take and replicate in just about any business. If you're going to go start any sort of company that offers services or products, you learn the skills, how to manage, how to lead generate, how to take care of clients, how to prospect. You learned so many good skills, but I think in any business that you're running your own business, burnout is something that you really have to pay attention to. And have you seen anybody or worked with anybody that you've seen that you're like, man, they're just like completely burning themselves to the ground right now?
Yes. I literally, 2 people come to my mind when I think about it. And there was a point in time that I looked at those agents and thought, man, I want to be like them. I want to be doing 150 transactions a year. And I quickly realized that I don't want to be like them. I care about my health. I care about time with my family. And I think it's just thinking about doing things the smarter way versus the harder way. And just the same when I'm sure people tell you guys all the time that we get new things thrown at us all the time being real estate agents. What's the new tool? Though technology, this, technology, that. It can be very overwhelming to know what to pick and choose instead of trying to do them all at once. So I've tried to really focus on going, okay, I like these couple of things. I'm good at them. I'm going to focus on them and be really, really, really good at them before I try to play around with something else, because otherwise you're just semi-decent at a bunch of different things. You want to be really good at a couple things so that way you have the consistency and you can grow with those types of things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you'll definitely get the most telemarketing calls of your entire life as soon as you get your real estate license.
Yeah.
You're gonna get hit up with, we can generate leads through this. We can generate leads through picking up garbage. We can do all these crazy, great things. You're like, I've heard this pitch before.
I try to be nice on the phone, when I get those calls, but sometimes it's like, oh.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
tremendous.
absolutely.
It's overwhelming. So what would you tell our listeners in all of this, levels of accomplishment, a lot of chaos to success that you've come through? What kind of things would you share with our listeners so that they can kind of encompass kind of restructuring their business from personal life, balancing it? And so the delegation was a key point, of course.
Yes. I think delegating, one thing that I learned early on is, I know it might seem scary to set hours for your business, especially being a real estate agent. And I, probably about 2 years ago, went, okay, at 6:00 at night, I will not be taking phone calls unless it's an absolute emergency. But at the bottom line, the title company's not open past 5. More than likely, the lender is not going to talk to you past 5 or on the weekend. And nothing within 5:00 at night to 8:00 in the morning is really going to change a deal unless it's a very rare circumstance. And I think setting that time out allows you to be with your family. It allows you to decompress, because if you are stressing out about real estate 24/7, it is not good for you.
You're right.
Yeah.
So I think
its way out. It's going to work.
Setting those hours. I mean, I'm to a point now where I don't even really work the weekend. When you set yourself out to have that structure, your clients follow suit. And I think that's something every agent, they should teach a class on how to not let a client run you, because people often miss that whole subject because I see it way too much.
Yeah.
It's those healthy boundaries for sure.
Yeah.
When you set the boundaries, that's the whole thing is, it's like with any relationship, how you let somebody treat you, they're going to continue to treat you that way. And if you don't set those boundaries early on, and if you call me and you get my voice recording, it's going to say, if this is emergency, please text. If not, I return all my calls in this time block every day.
Absolutely.
So I know that if I need to call you, I'm going to call you. If it's something that like has to happen right now, to text me. But you also know now, if it's not something that's like right this second important, you'll get a call in the afternoon between this time and this time. So you know when to expect it, and you know that I'm setting myself up for success. And then I know every day from 2 to 3, okay, I'm going to call back XYZ person. This is my return call time block. And if I get it all done in 10 minutes, cool. But it definitely is kind of taken that stress of like, oh, I forgot I got to call this person back. And I time block that response time every day. But it kind of trains people too. And they respect that early on.
I mean, if you're taking calls at 11:00 at night from a new buyer,
I've had those clients.
They're going to keep calling you at 11:00 at night. And now you're just setting yourself up to attract more people like that.
Yep. And I've had clients that I've had to say, they texted me or tried calling me at 11:00 at night. And I've had to tell them, that's not business professional to be trying to reach me at 11:00 at night for a question about something. That's fine if you're up that late, but that's not how I run the business. Like, you have to respect, I'll get back with you in the morning. Like I might even send you an email at 6 a.m., but I'm not going to respond to you at 11:00 at night. I'm not going to answer your phone call. There's nothing that has happened at 11:00 at night, like you said, that will change the course of a deal.
There is one thing though. What if they won the lottery?
Yeah, well, that might change something.
Are they sharing it?
Right?
Yeah.
Now a cash buyer.
Instead of that $200,000 house, we're buying the $2 million house. Okay.
Yeah.
You can call me then.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about that. My kids wake me up so early, I pass out during my relaxing hours of 9, 10 p.m. or whatever it is. So a lot of people try to reach me. They're like, I tried calling you at like 10. I'm like, that's cool. I was sleeping.
Yeah, me too. I'm definitely 10 o'clock is cutoff time for me.
Yeah.
So tell us, so after your move, how long has it been within your 5 years that you started to see over, say, 30 or 40 transactions? How long did it take you to get that business really going? So the first year you did, a handful of deals or whatever it was, or did you see in the second or third year? When did you see that momentum? Because you had this amazing, inspiring drive, and I hope all people can kind of listen in on how you're going about your business and how you're not letting anything get in your way. Your mindset is strong. You're exercising that mindset daily and reminding yourself why you're doing this. And I'm sure your beautiful babies are enough motivation as it is, right?
Yeah.
As you see your family grow, you want to spend time with them. So when do you start seeing traction in your business from even doing all these organic things with connecting with people in the community, and doing some levels of marketing, of course, and reaching out to for sale by owners and doing that proactive prospecting? So I know you were telling us in the beginning you started to see a quick transaction, and of course that really gets the ball rolling for anybody who's starting off. So your first transaction just creates that phenomenal momentum. It almost makes you want to keep going. So where did you see your I wouldn't say substantial, but where did you see some satisfying growth? How long did that take for you to build up?
So I'm trying to recall how many transactions I actually did in my first year of real estate. And to be quite honest, I'm not sure. I think it was like under 10. And my second year, I capped out. And then my third year, in terms of Remax, I had made 100% club, which was my goal. And for anyone that doesn't know, Remax, if you make 100% club, that means you have a gross commission of $100,000. And so the following year, I hit it again. And then last year, I made the club above that, which is 250 or more. And I can say that for this year, which would be my 6th year in real estate, I'm already up, I think, 7 transactions for the year. And what I've told recently to some people that have been inquiring about becoming a real estate agent is you have that snowball effect. If you are being consistent in your marketing, you're being consistent in being proactive with your past clients and staying in touch with them. I'm really big into that, by the way. That's like my baby. I love my past clients and doing things for them throughout the entire year. And then still being proactive on getting new clients. That snowball effect hits. I feel like you can at least grow 25% every year. And if you can hit that 5-year mark, I think at that point, your business is working for you. You're getting referrals. Who doesn't want all the referral business they can get? People know who you are. People see your billboards. People recognize your brand. At that point, you're not doing the grind of just trying to get a new buyer just to get a transaction. It starts happening for you. Yeah. And so I think your first year might be a little hard, right? You're just building your business. Year 2, you should be doing pretty good. And if you hit year 5, I think your business pretty much works for you as long as you're being consistent.
So what's that? I'm sure you see it because I know we see it here. We have 400 agents here out of this office. And I know I see it where you'll see new agents coming in. They're here. They're, all pumped up for 6 months and they're going at it, maybe have a deal or two, but they're not doing a whole lot. And then they're back working full-time job doing something different. And is that something that you see just as often as I think we do, in terms of people don't have those expectations that you're starting your own business from scratch, and it's going to take a while to build that momentum like you're talking about?
For some reason, I feel like there's a facade out there that real estate is like glamorous and easy, and you you just got to sell a house and you're going to make a ton of money, right? People do not see the nitty-gritty every day, what goes into real estate. So I think a lot of people, you just take a 40-hour course and you get your license and you're going to make a lot of money. Well, truth is, it's not how it is.
No, I tell people all the time, I'm just a better paid or glorified
Psychologist.
like call center person. Like I'm just, at the end of the day, if you, especially new in the business, and me in the area that I'm at was not an area I grew up in, was not an area I had any connections in. This is brand new area to me. You got to prospect, like you got to make those calls, and you're just a glorified telemarketer at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You're making those calls, making those prospects, taking on those leads. Yeah, it's not people get in all the time, and I think they just think like, well, I got my license, like I'm at this brokerage, shouldn't I be having deals closing like all the time? Like I thought I was going to be making 6 figures right now, and that's definitely not how it happens.
No, it doesn't. I feel bad for those people kind of too, because they think that, it's going to be great, but
Yeah.
it is a lot of hard work.
I want to know who's selling them that pie in the sky that they can just get their license and everything will be kosher. Like their friends or family. I don't know who's selling them that, but it's definitely not.
Have you ever looked at real estate agent ads like on Indeed and stuff?
Yeah.
I mean, they make it seem pretty nice.
Well, for sure. And I mean, don't get me wrong. It is nice once you've set it up, like you're saying, right now, looking back, I'm sure for you, looking back 5 years, you're looking at the struggles you had to go through, but is worth it right now? I'm sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's what people don't realize is like those things in the ads, they're kind of true. They're pretty true. Like you do get those flexible hours, things like that. You will make good money, just not today. It's not going to happen right now.
I think if I could have gone back when I first got my license in what I tell people now when they talk to me about getting their license, I think one huge thing is making sure whatever brokerage that you decide to work for is going to be a fit for you. Every brokerage offers different things, and I'm not sure everybody understands that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think interviewing and researching what you're getting into and what they offer is extremely important.
Yeah. I've had multiple people that I know, they know I'm in real estate, and they not from around here. I've lived in Florida for a long time, and people hit me up and, they're like, hey, just got my real estate license. I'm like, that's awesome. And they're like, I don't know where to go though.
Yeah.
And so I really have to I've done some of the legwork and looking at some of their places. And then I'm like, you got to talk to as many places as you can and really understand what they do, what they offer, how they operate, and make sure that it's a good fit for you. Like you're saying, like it's a good vibe and you're not just jumping to the first real estate office you see, or the person is like, come join me at my real estate office.
Well, especially now when you have brick and mortar and you have EXP, I feel like there's definitely a battle between what is best there for people right now. Especially, I feel like so many people don't understand all the ins and outs when you're never been in the business.
Yeah. Yep. And if you don't have somebody there kind of holding your hand, especially, I think I was fortunate enough to have met Mark kind of early on right off the bat, and he'd been in the business for a really long time. And, he definitely
for buyers.
Yeah, definitely took me by the hand and showed me the ropes, and it, and it That's accelerated huge. My business immensely right from the get-go. Capped my first year. I think it wasn't even 3 months in, and I had 3 deals that were like within 10 days closing.
Awesome.
1, 2, 3. And it was, but I know jumping in by myself like that wouldn't have been something that happened by myself. And definitely having those mentors, I think, is a huge piece in there. Did you have somebody early on that was kind of there to help you? I know you jumped around and then ended up at Remax after a few months, but anybody at Remax that kind of took you by the hand there, under their wing?
I will give props to Remax of Rockford, Tracy and Tom Rich. I think that they have an amazing brokerage, and they have other people within their office that you can literally go there, and whether it's another agent, whether it's Tom or Tracy or somebody else, you feel like you have all the help that you need. And they do a wonderful job with training, making sure that they are available. So I think that that was a huge stepping stone in my business, is going to that office.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of feel like it should be mandatory for licensing to create an internship project where they could have people like that you're talking about, that share wisdom and ethics and, legal understanding of contracts and ramifications of things that can go wrong. So if you're pre-prepared and taught the right way, I think a lot of agents coming out of the bat would really benefit from that too. And the same thing applies to obviously in the investment world too, because you do investments. So I think you've seen there's a lot of people that sell these courses and they're tremendously expensive. And
Yeah.
hey, that if that works for you, great. If that works for you as the client, great. I don't have anything against that. But what I'm trying to say is at the end of the day, you still need that hand holding internship for a certain period of time. And that's how we make other good professionals in other industries that have licenses, right? So I think that's crucial.
Yeah. And I think something that sticks out to me, at least, I feel like a lot of realtors are secretive. They don't want to share their secrets on how they became successful or what works for them. And I don't really think that that's the way God wants us to be. And I think that I try to share as much knowledge and success that I have had with the other agents in my office, because I'd rather bring them up with me than just watch them fall. I mean,
I love what you're saying. You rather bring them up with you than keep them down or keep a leg over them. Like
yeah,
a good surgeon wants to teach the next upcoming person to be a good surgeon. Like that's going to help a vast number of people.
absolutely.
You're going to help society. You're going to help just people in general that are looking for investment properties and regular properties. This is a big deal. This is your biggest purchase of your life. It's the biggest.
Yeah.
It causes the most stress. Anything goes wrong with your home, I think it's something that people can't ever really overcome and digest. I mean, that's something that always has to run smooth, right?
And I've never gotten that mentality of like, the scarcity, like, I don't want you competing with me or doing what I'm doing type of thing. And I have always just been the big, like, if I'm doing something, I will teach you, I will give it to you, whatever you want, I will help you, because I'm that competitive person. Like, I hope that you can figure out everything I'm doing or be that, and I'm still going to beat you. Like that's my mindset is, I'll bring you up to I'll teach you everything and anything you want. And if you beat me, awesome, because that's going to make me want to be like
better.
I gotta do
you better
better.
level up.
Yeah. And it's that constant competition of like, I have no problem giving anybody anything. Like they come in my office, ask me questions. Like I will give you everything that I do. I'm not holding anything back. No secrets, nothing.
That's exactly how I am. Compete
with me, because as soon as I see you succeed in one, I'm going to cheer for you. But two, I'm going to be like, well, I got to step my game up now too, because they're stepping up, and I don't like losing at all in anything. So yeah, I've never gotten that. And that's anything I do in life. It's always got to be that give back mindset, I think.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
We're all in this together. There's no reason to hold back any information.
Even in our flipping business, being in college town, we have a lot of very slummy houses that are rented out to college students. And when we moved back and seen how many there were, we kind of made it a mission to buy these should be torn down houses and flip them and turn them into single family homes that we could sell to a family. Even houses that we keep as rentals, we do not get in the college rental game. I get way more out of getting a home rented to a family, a mom with 3 kids, whatever it may be. That's super nice and something that they can afford, because our town in particular needs that. The college is kind of overtaken. So I get a lot of satisfaction out of that, instead of trying to get a, R2 4-bedroom that I'm going to not do anything to and rent out to 4 college kids. I definitely like being able to offer things to the single families, whether it's buying or renting with our properties.
I think that's something that people miss and don't always understand about communities in general, is what an impact investors can have on a community. And especially when you're talking about a college town, people don't realize like a community can completely go to hell from the people that own these properties.
Oh,
And investors have that first line of they can buy up the stuff that comes on the market. They can fix it up. They have that. I can do what I want with it.
yeah.
And they have the ability to, like you said, not rent to college kids, and they have the ability to sell to a single mom that has 3 kids, and they can almost effectively single-handedly change an entire neighborhood themselves if they wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm not tooting my own horn here by any means, but that is what we have done. We have made so many houses on like these streets that were just total eyesores, and they are so nice now. It's kind of to the point where if somebody owns a home or inherits a home that is completely destroyed, they will literally call me. They know I'm going to fix it and make it a nice home and sell it to a family. And I really appreciate that. And I just think that trying to do the good for the community, I mean, it's important. We can make change, and we can always, in whatever way, make the community better. And I'm all about it.
And you're only a few years in. So is investing kind of, you've got your real estate business now. You guys are still doing investing. Your husband sounds like he's doing that kind of almost exclusively anymore. He's pretty busy with that, especially in this market. Is this kind of part of your guys' future end game of making the investments, the rentals, things like that, kind of your main source of retirement income, future holdings?
Yes. So we kind of have a goal. We want to have at least 5 rentals. We figure if we have 5 rentals, that basically covers everything we have expense-wise. So that way, anything I would make personally in my business is extra money for whatever, we need to do with it. And so right now, with the market so hot, we have sold quite a lot of flips in the last 2 years. We currently are holding, we have a single family rental, and we bought a duplex that we just completely flipped. It's being drywalled right now, and we'll hold that 2 unit. So we would like to pick up 2 more units to at least keep and hold. But it's tough when the market is so hot to buy a $20,000 home and be able to put 50, 60 into it and sell it for 150. So it kind of just depends on the market, whether we keep it or we flip it. But
for people listening, talk a little bit about, because I love explaining to people and teaching people, and just seeing my social media and stuff, talking about investing and the numbers. And I'm sure you've read Rich Dad Poor Dad, and the concept of he's not buying anything new until something that one of his properties or his assets can cover that and pay for that. So talk a little bit about your guys' that kind of that safety net and your goal of having those 5 units and what those monthly income means to you guys.
Yeah. So we even started putting that into place when we bought the house in Sand Lake. $20,000. It took us 4 years because we paid cash for every renovation we did, and we had to totally gut and flip that entire house. And so at that point, we were able to sell that property for enough profit to pick up 2 more houses plus flip them. So by the time we sold those 2 houses, we were able to buy our family home now that we live in for cash. So we are mortgage free. And we were only able to take the other homes that we had kept to leverage, use the cash to keep flipping them. So at this point, with 3 units, we're getting roughly, it depends on which one, between $1,000 to $1,400 a month in that rent. That money is paying our bills, and we don't owe on it. So we ultimately don't have to, quote unquote, work if we didn't want to. And that's a point where we want to be at. I don't want to have to do a transaction to pay my bills. I mean, I'm totally against the hamster wheel of life. And I think if you are smart with your money, you make a plan, you follow it, you can ultimately live your life without being paycheck to paycheck easily. And I think it just takes a little patience. It takes some knowledge and it takes some work. But once you get there, it's way better.
Yeah. And that I tell people too, the biggest thing that can change, it's funny because you look at 5 years and you look 5 years back, and so many people can take a look and say, I've wasted so much money, so much time. in these last 5 years. And instead of being disciplined about the things that they're buying and the money that they're saving and how they're investing and learning about how to invest in this kind of stuff, so they can be at that point where they have some rental units that are where they basically can live for free. The passive income pays them for free. Because I'm sure over the years, you guys have had to be very disciplined and structured on your spending and how you're saving and living below your means. You guys probably weren't out buying Mercedes or, you know, getting the new cars and going to dinners 3 nights a week. Like, you guys were probably being very responsible with your money in order to get to where you are today.
Well, if you ask my husband, he would tell you I have a brown box problem. But I take out the recycling on Sundays, and it's not that bad. So he definitely, kudos to him. He's more, I know, my UPS guy.
Which you know by first name. That's fine.
Yes, Andy. I love you, Andy. Thank you. Yes, you had to be smart about it. You know, if you're going to spend money, at least set a spending budget a month, so you're staying in what you need to stay in.
Yeah. So you guys are pretty budget oriented as a family.
Well, because we're both self-employed, I think it's very important when it comes to taxes to set money aside for taxes. I mean, that's another huge thing people don't really talk to you about when you get into real estate. I mean, you can literally get a license and not know a ton about the business. And so between taxes, you know, you don't have a steady paycheck. You really need to budget and be careful with your money.
Oh, yeah.
You are so right. A lot of real estate agents, when the first year's over, they panic.
Tax time.
You have to set aside taxes. You have to set aside money for taxes.
Titlocity is an innovative title and escrow services company with a powerful operations team ramped up and ready to work for you. For your convenience, we cover the entire state of Michigan, offer mailaways and alternative closing options to best fit your clients' needs. Let us know how we can help build your business and make you shine all the way to the closing table. Now, over the years, our realtor partners have appreciated us, keeping them informed on the title process. Please reach out anytime that you may have any questions about the title process. We will work hard for you and your clients, and we would love the opportunity to team up. Contact Dawn Burdick at 248-761-1031 anytime.
Yep. Yeah, if you're not being smart about your money, and I'm sure you've heard it, and we tell agents, you know, you better have 6 months worth of living money ready. And I'd say even more, but as soon as that first paycheck comes, you know, that first commission check, what are you doing with it? And I think the reason most people get out of the business so fast is either they were not prepared and they have zero money left, so it all has to go away immediately to pay for everything, or two, they don't see the taxes, they don't see the reinvesting in themselves and into their business, and they just go and spend it on whatever, you know. And
it actually blows my mind how many agents are very concerned about marketing and spending money. I know so many agents that will not spend money on anything for marketing. And I'm like, you should be spending like 20% of your income on marketing because you're going to make way more out of it.
Yeah. Yep. It's got to go back into the business. I just see so many people not understand how to break down. And that's, you know, sometimes that's the fault of the brokerage or the mentor. And that should be kind of like Mark said, there should be some sort of mentorship program that teaches you, like, hey man, when your money comes in, you should be setting money aside here. You should be setting money aside here. You should be putting back into your business here. But once you get to a steady point, you can start almost paying yourself your own kind of salary. And that's the way I always kind of say is, you know, you should be getting to a point where you can foresee your income and you can predict the money coming in, and then you can be able to pay yourself on a monthly basis, basically write yourself a check for your income, and you're setting money aside for taxes, for expenses, and you're actually running a business now. And it's not just you're not just a commission salesperson. You're actually running a business now.
You are the CEO of your business.
Yeah, it's going to take some sacrifice for sure. I think some key advice I gave agents when I would train them, this is going back like 18 years ago, but you want to look at your income as like a 33% net. Okay. You want to take half of it, cut it up into half taxes, half savings, and live off 33% and spend the rest and act like that is your only income and you have no access to any other money, you will be very well rewarded for the sacrifice.
Yeah.
That's basically how it works. You can't be ready to invest if you don't have reserves upon reserves and everything accounted for, because commission doesn't come around every Friday. And any deal that's promised and looks good, it's going to close Friday for sure, could end up being delayed for 30 days. So you don't know what's going to happen. It's literally like luck of the draw type thing. So
Yeah.
you've got to be well prepared, very well prepared to last. That's one key aspect of running a successful business. And I think you're demonstrating that. So you're the spender and your husband's the saver, and that combination is so good. He has probably helped your business stay right intact and grow. So big thank you to him for doing that. But I have a wife that does that too. So I'm the spender. She's the saver. So
yeah,
I get it.
I think it's always one or the other.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a good combination if you're both the spenders.
Yeah.
For those that are, you can take this advice and,
Broke.
like I said, live off 33%. You should be okay.
Yeah.
So we always like to ask, in your time of life, business, whatever you can pick from, if you had to give to the audience just kind of an encompassing what you've learned that's gotten you to the person that you are today, to the success that you are today, what's kind of that biggest linchpin in life that you figured out that you don't think you'd be where you are without it?
You have to learn not to compare yourself to others, whether it's comparing your life on social media, whether it's comparing your business to another agent's business. The bottom line is everybody is in a different walk of life at a different time. So comparing yourself is completely unfair. And I think that it can just leave you feeling like you're not good enough when that's all false talk. And once you kind of let that stuff get in your head, I think it can be crippling. And so don't compare yourself and do things that you are scared to do, because that will help you grow, and to just always keep moving forward, because it ain't over till it's over.
That is very true. That's some sound advice, some great wisdom, and things we definitely live by and try to push as well. So, and a lot of good points out of this. This is something that anybody watching, if you rewatch, make sure you're taking some notes.
Listen to that again, what she said.
Yeah, especially there at the end.
And always be a good person. I think that's really important.
Yeah.
The world's a little bad right now. Be a good person.
That should just be a standard thing.
I know. It's world, we have to say it.
It's not. Yeah, that's the struggle anymore. It's hard. Fewer and fewer people are living their lives and being good people. It's sad, but the ones that are, we got to keep trucking forward.
Yep.
Setting examples.
We're definitely grateful for your example, Katie. That's what that's what we brought you on, of course, and we really appreciate it. We've learned a lot about you today, and for us, it's been a great pleasure. And I'm sure people listening have taken quite a bit away from it, and I hope they're going to run with it. And I hope that you pour into a lot more people and teach them exactly what you were able to share with us today. And I think that's going to be a life changer for those that apply it. So thank you. We're honored to have you on here.
No, I appreciate you having me on the show.
Thanks for joining us, Katie. It's been awesome. So this has been What I've Learned podcast, guys. Check us out next time. Again, rewatch this, take some notes, go follow Katie. If you're in the Ferris State area, or your kid's moving to Ferris, you know who to find over there.
Yeah.
You know how to find her. Look her up online. Katie, how do people find you? Tell us.
You can find me on Facebook at katieross.realtor. I'm on Insta, and I obviously katieross.com.
And Katie's with a Kati. So when you're looking her up, you can find her real easily. And just remember, the cap rates in Michigan outweigh the cap rates in most states. Yeah. And so investing into the state of Michigan right now is very prosperous compared to a lot of other states. And you'll see the rate of return is a lot higher. Your capital input's a lot less. And so it's a lower risk. So keep that in mind.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for being on. And again, guys, join us next time for What I've Learned podcast.
Thank you.